Every business wants more leads, more Google ads, more SEO, more referrals, more LinkedIn messages, more inquiries. But here is something I have noticed. Almost nobody spends the same amount of time thinking about what happens after the lead arrives. In this video, we are going to investigate exactly what should happen from the moment someone fills out your contact form until the right salesperson starts the right conversation. We will map the entire journey. We will identify every place where business quietly lose customers. We will compare how companies like HubSpot, Salesforce, and other mature organizations structure this process. We will decide what should stay human, what AI should assist, and finally, what deserves the automation. By the end of this video, I will give you a worksheet so that you can audit your own business even if you never work with us. Because automation isn't the place where this story begins. It starts with understanding your business. Let's imagine two marketing agency. They are operating in same city. They providing same services. They they have the same advertising budget. Both receive exactly the same leads. The only difference is agency A responds almost immediately. Agency B replies the next morning. Who do you think will win? For years, researchers have studied what happens when a business responds quickly versus when they wait. Across widely cited studies, one conclusion appears again and again: speed matters because buyers are most engaged immediately after they reach out to you. So maybe the biggest problem isn't generating more leads. Maybe it's everything that happens after the lead arrives. Here is what we are going to do. We are not going to start with software. We are not going to start with AI. We are not even going to start with automation. We are going to start with one lead. Let's call him John. John visits your website. He reads your services and your offerings. He likes what you offer. He fills out the contact form. Now he clicks on the submit button. Now let's stop pretending for now. What actually happened? Who gets notified? Who owns John? Who decides whether he's a good fit or not? And how long before someone responds? What happens if John submits the form on weekend? What happens if your business person, if your salesperson, currently the who handles the leads, is on leave today? What happens if two people contact the John? And what happens if nobody contacts the John? If you can't answer these questions, then you don't have an automation problem, my friend. You have a visibility problem. And that's exactly what we are going to solve today. Everything you are about to see in this video is based on three things. First one is the research. Because business schools and industry studies have spent multiple years analyzing how organizations manage leads, sales, and customer journeys. The second thing is how mature companies actually operate. When you look at platforms like HubSpot, Salesforce, LeanData, or Chili Paper, you start to notice something. They all solve different problems, but they all share the same principles: clear ownership, defined stages, visibility, fast response, accountability. Third one is real implementation because every business is different. A law firm isn't a marketing agency, a recruitment company isn't a construction business, but the principle behind the great operations are surprisingly consistent. This video isn't about copying software, it's about understanding those principles. Here is the mistake I see founders make. They think that automation will fix the business, but automation only makes your existing process happens faster. If your processes are clear, then automation makes it faster. But if your processes are confusing, then automation makes the confusion happens faster. So before you automate anything, we are going to answer one question: what should happen after a lead enters your business? Let's investigate. Before I drew a single diagram for this video, I wanted to answer one question. How do business that process thousands of leads every day actually thinks about lead response? So instead of starting with automation, I started reading about Harvard Business Reviews, MIT researches, HubSpot documentation, Salesforce, LeanData, Chili Piper, Gong, and something interesting happened. None of them, I'm saying none of them were really talking about automations. They were talking about operations. Different companies, different software, different industry, but they all kept repeating the same idea: speed, ownership, visibility, consistency. At the first, I thought that was a coincidence, but it wasn't. The first thing I noticed that surprised me: none of these companies start with software. They all start with understanding how work moves through the business. HubSpot doesn't begin with email automation. It starts with lifecycle stages. Salesforce doesn't begin with the AI. It starts with lead management. Lean data doesn't begin with the dashboards. It starts with the routing. Different terminologies, but they have same thinking. Based on that, before you improve any work, you have to see the work. That's why consultants don't walk into any business asking that what software do you use. They ask you, can you show me what happens? Because if nobody can explain how work flows between the business, then nobody can improve it. Everything sounds great in research, but does it actually work? Let's test it. Meet John again. John visits your website again. He likes what you are offering. He fills out the contact form. Now he clicks on the submit. Now imagine you are a founder. Without opening your laptop, can you answer these questions? First, who receives the John inquiry first? Where is the John information stored? Who owns the John? How long before someone responds? How does management knows John isn't forgotten? If these questions are difficult to answer, then congratulations, my friend. You have just discovered your first operational blind spot. Not because your business is bad, because most businesses never stop to map what happens. Let's compare. If I ask any small business to describe their lead process, they will simply say that we got the lead, then it goes to sales and customer. That's it. Three boxes, and they are done. Now let's compare that with the how mature businesses or organizations thinks. So first they see the customer, then they capture that lead, they qualify that lead, then they assign, then they respond, then follow up is there, then measurement, and lastly the improvement. Now you notice something? The second version isn't more complicated, it's more visible. Every stage has a purpose, every stage has a owner, every stage can be measured. That's why this business improves consistently, not because they have the better software, but due to they understand their processes deeply. Now let's do exactly what we will do if we were sitting inside your office. Forget software, forget AI, forget automations. Give me a whiteboard. That's it. Let's draw the George journey. Website, email, sales, marketing, proposal, customer. It looks simple, right? Let's zoom into it. Now, who receives the email? Who decides who owns job? What happens if the salesperson is busy? What happens after 6 p.m.? What happens if the lead comes on weekend? Where is the John track? Who updates the CRM? What if somebody forgets? And suddenly, one simple process has become the 15 kind of different decisions. That's why mapping matters. Not because consultants love diagrams, because diagrams expose invisible bug. After reading all this research and after applying it to real businesses, I don't think the first step in automation is automation. I think it's visibility. Because once you can see the work, you can question it. And once you can question it, then only you can improve it. And only then you should think about automating it. That's exactly what we are going to do next. In the next chapter, we are going to dissect this process step by step, find every place business lose customers, and calculate how much those invisible gaps might actually cost you. Let's go back to John. John filled the contact form. Now, here is a question. What is the first thing that can go wrong? Most people say no response, but that actually not the first failure. The first failure is nobody knows who owns the job because ownership comes before the response. If two people think that someone else is responsible, then nobody will act. If everyone owns the lead, then nobody owns the lead. One of the things I kept seeing while studying HubSpot Salesforce was how much emphasis they place on assigning the responsibility and defining the stages before worrying about the automation. Not because software needs it, but people do need it. When I started reading the research, I expected to find discussion about AI. Instead, I kept finding studies about time. Harvard Business Reviews highlighted how quickly the value of lead declines as response is delayed. Then, research frequently cited from MIT and Inside Sales reaches similar conclusion that responding within the minutes gives a business a dramatically better chance of connecting with the prospect than waiting much longer. Notice something? Neither study says buy AI. They say response faster. That's the business principle. Automation is just one possible way to achieve it. My one question to you is how long does your business actually take? Not how long you hope, how long it takes. Let's continue John's journey. Marketing has done its job. Now sales takes over it. Or does it? Who told John exists? Email, Slack, CRM, WhatsApp, or a sticky note. This is where LeanData and similar platforms build the entire businesses. Not because routing is exciting, because every handoffs create the possibility of delay, confusion, and loss of context. The more people are involved, the more opportunities for failure will increase. Every handoff is a chance to lose a customer. Here is another pattern. Every mature company we research treats data like an operational asset. Why? Because if your CRM says John has already been contacted, but he hasn't, then the data isn't just the wrong. The next decision which you are going to take will be wrong too. So Gartner has repeatedly highlighted the cost of poor data quality, not because incorrect records are annoying, because bad data creates the bad business decisions. So if I open your CRM today, Would everyone trust that what's inside it? One thing surprised me. During the research, most businesses think that follow-up depends on discipline. Great businesses treat follow-ups as a process. Think about it. If John doesn't answer today, what happens tomorrow? Who remembers John? How many attempts are made to connect with the John? When do you stop? And leading CRM platforms don't rely on memory. They rely on predefined workflows, reminders, accountability. That's why follow-up becomes consistent, not heroic. The follow-up strategy in many businesses is, I hope somebody should remember tomorrow. But hope is not the follow-up strategy. Let's step back. We started with the one lead, John, but we already found multiple opportunities for failure. No ownership, slow response, poor routing, poor routing, weak handoffs, bad data, no follow-up. Notice something. None of these are automation problems. These are operational problems, and automation simply exposes them faster. After studying the research and comparing it with how mature companies operate, I don't think successful businesses are better because they have better softwares. I think they are better because they remove uncertainty. Everyone knows what happens, who owns it, when it happens, how it is measured. Automation comes later. Process comes first. In the next chapter, we will take every one of these failures and decide something much more interesting. Should this stay human? Should AI assisted or should it completely disappear? Let's talk about $1 million question. What should actually be automated? After everything we discovered so far, most people immediately ask the same question. So, what should I automate? And honestly, I think that's the wrong question because if you ask me that first, then you will automate bad process. A better question is what should happen here in this place right now? Only then should we ask who or what should do it. That one change completely changes how you approach the automation. When I was reading through the HubSpot, Salesforce, Gong, and other researches, then I noticed something interesting. I'm saying none of these companies are trying to replace people. They are trying to remove repetitive work around the people. Think about HubSpot. It doesn't start with automating relationship. It starts reminders. It automates reminders, lifecycle management, and repetitive administrative work. Think about Salesforce. It doesn't replace salespeople. It gives them visibility, ownership, context. Think about Gong. It doesn't replace conversation. It analyzes conversation afterwards so teams can improve. Different companies, same philosophy. Technology should amplify the people, not replace them. So my question here to you is, what repetitive work is stealing the time from your team today? Let's build a framework together. Not to decide how to automate, to decide whether automation is even the right answer. Every activity inside your business should pass through these four questions. Question 1. Does this activity actually creates value? If the answer is no, then why does it exist? Maybe we should completely remove it. Then question 2. If it creates value, can we simplify it first? Then the question 3 is, if it's repetitive and rule based, can automation handle it reliably? Question 4 is, if it requires judgment, trust, empathy, should humans stay involved while AI simply assists this? This is how we think about automation, not as a software, but as a decision making. Now let's go back to John. We will make every decision together. John filled the form. Now the question is, should it stay human or automated or AI? So here the automation will win because nobody adds the value manually copying form into a CRM. Next, research the company. So what do you think? Human AI. So in this case, AI should collect the information and human decides whether it matters or not. Then the lead qualification. Lead qualification should be automated. Then the next one is the booking of meeting. Booking of meeting should be automated. Then discovery call. Discovery call is something should be taken by human because trust is built in conversations, not in workflows. Then proposal drafting. Proposal drafting should be done by AI and approval of that proposal should be given by human. Then the CRM update. So CRM update should be done by using automation. Then follow-up reminders should be automated. But negotiation is something which is handled by human. Notice something, we didn't automate John's journey. We simply designed it. Automation was just a simple tool in this. Let's try one together. Imagine John has just finished the discovery call. Now your business needs to prepare a proposal. So what it should be? Pause this video and think. Don't let me answer. You should answer this. So should proposal creation be human, AI assisted, or fully automated, or should the process itself have changed? Pause the video and actually decide. So here is what I recommend. AI should draft it, humans should preview it because accuracy matters. Context also matters. Relationship matters. That's the difference between using AI blindly. I think this is where many automation projects fail. People start with software, not with the decision. Imagine buying a Ferrari for a road that doesn't even exist. That's what automation feels like when the process hasn't been designed. Technology is incredibly powerful, but it cannot decide what good work looks like, and that's still your job. Now look at John's journey again, this time not as a task, but as a decision. So capturing of lead, automation. Research, AI. Qualification, human plus AI. Meeting, automated. Discovery call, human. Proposal, AI plus human. Negotiation, human. CRM, automation. Reporting, automation. Notice that not the software, the clarity. Everyone knows what happens, who owns it, why it happens, and how success is measured. That's what mature businesses build. When I started researching about this topic, I thought automation was the answer. Now I think automation is simply one of the tools. The real work happens long before that. Designing, understanding, making perfect decisions, better decisions, only then building system. Because automation doesn't create the great businesses. Great business designs create the great automations. And in the final chapter, we are going to turn everything we have learned today into a practical audit. So you can apply to your own business this afternoon. Let's take one final look at John's journey. At the beginning of this video, John was just a contact form. Now he is the complete process. We have seen where businesses lose the customers. We have looked at what world-class companies do differently. We have learned how to decide what stay human, what AI should assist, and what deserves automation. Now comes the most important part, that is your business. If I walk into your office tomorrow, I wouldn't start by asking what software do you use. I will ask you five questions. Question number one, can you draw your lead process from your memory? Second, who owns every step? The third question will be, where can a lead disappear without anyone noticing it? The fourth question is, which steps genuinely require human judgment? And the last question is, which repetitive steps stealing your team's time? That's it. Those five questions alone will reveal more than any software demos ever will. Score your business now. Let's do some practical. Give yourself 1 point for every statement that is true. Every lead has one clear owner. We know our average response time. No lead can disappear without someone noticing it. Every follow-up is consistent. Everyone trusts our CRM. We know where manual work exists. We know what should stay human. We know what should be automated. So, how many did you score? If you score between 0 to 3, then you have a very little visibility. If your score is between 4 to 6, then you have a process. But it is probably depends on people. If your score is between 7 to 8, then you are building a scalable operation. Remember, this isn't about passing or failing. It's about knowing where to improve next. So now, what should you do next? If your score is low, don't buy software. Draw the process. If your process is clear, then don't buy AI. Remove unnecessary work first. If your process is simple, then ask where AI can assist. Only after that, think about automation. Technology should be final step, not the first one. This entire video was about one business process, lead response. But every company has dozens of processes, client onboarding, proposal approvals, project delivery, customer support, reporting, recruitment, knowledge management, finance. Every one of them can be investigated exactly the same way. That's the real skill, not the automation. Operational thinking is, once you learn how to investigate work, you will never look at business the same way again. So we didn't create this channel to teach softwares. There are already great channels out there. We created it because most businesses don't need more tools. They need more clarity. Every episode in this series is going to be investigation of one real business process. We will study, we will research, we will learn how the companies that doing good are working well. We will build practical frameworks. Then we will show how to implement those ideas. Not because automation is exciting, because well-designed businesses create better experiences for customers and better lives for the people running them. If this video helped you see your business differently, I got one more challenge for you. Take one process this week, draw it, question it, remove unnecessary work, then decide what should stay human, what AI should assist, and what deserves automation. If you do that, you have already started thinking differently than most of the businesses. And if you eventually want help identifying, designing, implementing these improvements, then that's exactly what our team does. But whether you work with us or not, I hope you keep investigating your business because that's where every great system begins. In the next video, we are going to investigate another business process, one that almost every service business struggles with, that is client onboarding. Most companies think client onboarding starts after the sale, but I think it starts much earlier. And once you see it, You will never look at the onboarding the same way again. See you in the next investigation. Thank you.